Guys, I'm beat and tired, but I just want to make this video because I've seen a lot of people having this problem. There's a 2018 2500 Silverado Duramax. Customer complaint was a high-pitched whistle sound when getting on the throttle. All right, if you'll disconnect turbo connector here for the vanes, and you'll move this while it's idling, and you'll move the arm up and down manually. If you can hit a sweet spot where you can hear the whistle at, more than likely anyways, it's probably an exhaust leak or intake leak or whatnot. But I've seen a lot of people with this problem, and their dealership just tells them, oh, it's just normal wear and tear or whatnot. It's just a really high-pitched squeal when you get at a certain RPM, and it's usually about cruising speed. That's what his was doing here, but just a really high-pitched whistle sound. But what his turned out being was the crossover pipe in the back, down there right at the transmission dipstick. This is not a fun job at all. Right, here's his old one. You can see where the soot's at there. The way I found this, if you're trying to find your exhaust leak, the best way to do it is get a smoke machine. If you don't have one, get another shop to do it for you. But right up under here, right there where the exhaust bolts to the DPF back here, right there, you'll need to undo it from right there, and you'll need to shoot smoke from here all the way up to the front. That's how I seen where mine was coming out at. Hopefully you have it in a turbo gasket or catalytic converter gasket. Something that's a lot easier to do than this crossover pipe. It wasn't that bad of a job, but you're going to break just about every bolt trying to get it out. So what you have to do, because I heated these things up for 10-15 minutes with the propane, and then even after I got it off and I welded nuts and all that good stuff on it, even with a extreme heat on it, they still didn't want to come out. So what you'll have to do, if you're having to change a crossover pipe, if you want to change both of them, just do this on both sides. But the passenger side is going to be worse because you've got to unbolt the exhaust coming up from underneath there. But what you'll do is just take the fender well out. I'm not redoing it again. I'm just tired and want to go home right now. You'll take the fender well out. Just go ahead and take the exhaust manifold off. Go ahead and break the bolts in the back that hold it in back here. Just go ahead and break them off and just go ahead and get it out. And yeah, I did finally get all the bolts out welding it, and one time with an easy out. But just go ahead and just break the bolts and get them out. The ones that you really want to try, and I don't even know if it's possible, but when you change that crossover pipe down there, after you get this turbo removed and the catalytic converter off, there'll be a flange with 3 bolts just like down on the exhaust manifold for this pipe. Right here. This is how it sits on the driver's side right here. You'll have these 3 bolts here. I got lucky and one of them came out, but the other 2 broke. The bottom one and that one broke. What I had to do to get the top one out is they could leave just a little bit of the bolt head or bolt, the start of the bolt hanging out, and I just hammered a inverted Torx, external Torx, whatever the hell you call it, the hollow ones. I just hammered it up on it until it kind of froze, and then I heated it with some MAP gas and oxygen, and I pulled it through instead of trying to back it out the back, and it seemed to come out better when you just try to pull it through. Now, if you unlucky like me and get it broke down in the bottom, hopefully it don't break on you, but try to get you some MAP gas down in that bottom bolt and oxygen and heat it up real good. I'm not gonna say it's gonna come out because I don't know. You might have better luck than me, but I'm pretty sure the fuel line is right below that, so you got to be careful doing this. But 5 out of 6 broke on me. So, and the main thing is you want to get them out up top. Like the ones up top here, you don't want to. If you're not doing both sides, you definitely don't want to have to take all this extra stuff off. Because if you only got to do one side, you can leave the plate in there. And if you only need to do one side, but you can't get the bolts out of the plate here, you're going to have to undo both sides just to get the plate out. So you can get it to it and weld nuts on it and get the studs out or bolts out and all that hoopla. I wouldn't really recommend this to somebody that's planning on doing this themselves. I mean, you're probably going to be real mad. I'm just going to be honest with you. But I just want to give you a rundown that if you're having a high-pitched whistle, that you need to check. You need to shoot smoke up through your exhaust, and that way you can see if it's an exhaust leak. Pray to God for you that it's an intake leak somewhere, or an easier, I don't know if it even is an easier exhaust leak here to fix. But hopefully you don't have the problems that I had here. But like I said, just remove the inner fender there, remove the manifold after you break the bolts off. Go ahead and get that crossover pipe out. And just go ahead and slide your new one down. The shield on the crossover pipe is going to be a pain in the ass too. It's hard. You can get it in there. Just get you a ratchet wrench and flex head ratchet wrench, and you can get it off back there. You'll have to go underneath the vehicle to do that, to get to the bolts on it. But that's about all I got for you. I mean, taking the turbo and stuff off is pretty straightforward. I mean, just disconnect everything up here. This boot down here, the boot that holds, that goes to the intake, what you do is you move this collar to the left. You'll just push that collar to the left until it don't move anymore and pull down, and it should pop right off. You have to unbolt the EGR pipe from the intake, and then you've got 4 bolts on this side, and you've got 4 bolts on this side. You'll also have to undo the AC compressor here. You can get 3 bolts out. The one that's right here where my finger's at, you'll just have to take an open-ended wrench if you don't want to pop the AC lines on it. You'll have to take an open-ended wrench and just slowly turn that bolt right there, and you'll get it out. That's what I done. And just pull the AC out of your way. Remove the alternator, get it out of your way. And after that, it's pretty straightforward. Just remove this, that. If you follow service data, they tell you there's a bracket back there that holds the catalytic converter, but don't even fool with that. Just unbolt. Just reach back in there where the catalytic converter's at with a power ratchet and a swivel and an 11 or a 7/16, and just loosen the clamp up on it, and loosen the clamp up on the turbo right here underneath the heat shield, and just get that off, and that'll give you a little bit more space to get to the bolts down on the turbo. The bolts on the turbo are down, straight down in there. There's 4 of them. You'll need a long extension with a 15 millimeter with a swivel head on the end of the extension, because the socket needs to be at a little bit of an angle when it gets down there, because the bolts are not perfectly straight to where you can get straight on it. So you got 2 bolts kind of going more straight down, and then you've got 2 that sit about like this, that go in like that. So just pay attention to that. You'll see it when you get up over top of it. Have you some good light. Other than that, that's about all I can tell you. I mean, it's pretty straightforward, but it's been a pain in the ass. I hope this helps somebody.